to save your house?
Okay.
You know, the real expert in the family on focus groups is my husband, Ed Valian, who many of you know, but he's actually off teaching market research tonight. He teaches market research at Cal State San Marcos, and also for the University of Phoenix. He teaches graduate students there. But I'm going to do my best to give you some information about focus groups, probably some of which you know and some of which you may not know. So let's get started. Whoops, let's back up. So you've got an idea, you need market research. As Adrian says, you can get so far down the road and get so excited about your idea. I have a friend, I spent about 25 years in corporate sales and marketing, mostly in high-tech sales and marketing. And I had a friend that used to say that a product development team could get drunk on their own bathwater. And I think that's what happens to us. You know, we get so enamored with our idea that we think everyone's going to love it. And that's not always the case. So you can save yourself a whole lot of money by spending a little bit of money and some time on market research. So what do you use it for? Well, getting feedback on a new product that you have, exploring ideas that maybe you haven't even thought of. Maybe your invention has all kinds of application that you haven't even thought of before. Planning your initial marketing strategy, revamping your product improvement, and also considering product improvements and changes and revamping your marketing approach. So all of those things can come out of good market research, well done market research. So what kind of research do you need? Well, the four categories that I have up here tonight: primary, which is what you do yourself; secondary, which might be census data or other data. Bill, you and I talked about that when I met with you. Quantitative, which is, of course, the hard stat stuff; and qualitative, which is more subjective. And the truth is, you probably need some of all of the above, because the best research combines elements of all of these different types of market research. But what we're going to talk about tonight is more qualitative in nature, and that's focus groups. So what is a focus group? It's interesting. We used to have a member here who will go unnamed, and I remember the first meeting that I came to, she came in and she had a product idea, and we were talking about market research. She says, heck, I just go down to Coco's and I go around all the different tables and I just ask people what they think about my product. And she was dead serious. So, so I hope none of you think that that's a focus group. A focus group is a small group of 8 or 15 people. It focuses on some predetermined concepts, generally 3 to 5 things that you want to know about your product or service or how you're marketing it. It's held in a neutral location, and it usually lasts 2 to 3 hours and is run by a professional moderator. And we're going to talk a little bit about that more in the presentation. The results are subjective and qualitative, so it's not hard data, it's not statistical data. There may be some percentages and so forth that go with it, but it's not considered quantitative research. But it can certainly validate quantitative research that you've done. Surveys would be an example of quantitative research, where you send out a questionnaire and everyone answers in the same way. That can be translated into hard statistics. Generally, focus group results can't. So what are the advantages of focus groups over other market research? So there are definite advantages and disadvantages. Focus groups are a group setting that allows participants to just be really open and candid about what they think about your product or service. You can get subtle information. If you got a bunch of people sitting there like this, when you're presenting what it is you have to offer, you know you're not getting through to those folks. Body language, other nonverbal communication can give you clues about what they think about your product. It's possible to determine the perception people have about you, your business, and or your products and services, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. And you've got an opportunity to get information back from people from diverse backgrounds all at the same time. So those are some of the advantages. Well, what are the disadvantages then? Sounds pretty good, right? The disadvantages are the time that you need to research the questions, find the participants, and plan the overall process. Plan and conduct the overall process, I should say. You really need a professional moderator and a note taker with knowledge of your product and service. You must ensure, underscore this, make it bold, italicize it. You must ensure that your biases, or the biases of your moderator don't alter or invalidate the results. The way you ask a question in a focus group or a survey can really influence the results of that survey. We've all seen these political polls, right? And you look at the way the questions are written, and you know how people are going to answer because that's the way that they've written the questions. So you have to be very careful about that. And focus groups can be costly. So what can you learn? You can learn the strengths and weaknesses of your product. You can get first impressions of your branding, your logo, the packaging, the colors, shapes, design of your packaging. You can get information about price points. I have a client right now who's trying to sell something that he's probably trying to sell it for 10 times more than what people are really going to pay for it. This man needs a focus group. But he's not going to listen to me. And you can get a perceptual map of your competitors. That's not really a term that maybe you've heard before. This is a perceptual map of your competitors. Say you've got a retail store and you want to get information about how you compare to other people, other stores. The focus group would be asked in relation to buying something from Nordstrom's. Where would you position this particular store, retail store? Does that make sense? So you have Nordstrom's up here. It generally has 4 quadrants. So you have high quality, and they can be anything, but it's a scale. High quality product, low quality product, excellent customer service, poor customer service. And what you would be looking for is where your shop ranks compared to other retail stores. And it really creates a nice visual story for what your product or service is, because you're comparing it to other people that are doing similar things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A focus group can really do that. And for those of us that are visual learners and visual people like me, that really speaks to me. You want some feedback, so who are you going to call? Just get a bunch of friends over and get some pizza and beer, right?
Yeah.
Are your friends going to tell you the truth? No. It depends on how much beer they drink. Yeah, okay. So you know,
thought about that. Wait a minute. We got a whole change of thought here on this.
What is it? What is drunks and little children tell the truth? Isn't that it?
What's the phrase?
Drunks and little children tell the truth. Well, I don't know, George. I don't think you're going to create that. Okay. Well, generally, it's fine to ask your friends for their feedback, but certainly don't rely on it. So I guess the answer is, do you want the truth or do you want warm fuzzies? Right? And that's something that you have to be mindful of when you go into the focus group business, is how are you going to react if people don't like your product? Are you going to be able to take that? So it's certainly something to think about. Okay, so one of the big challenges in focus groups is finding participants. So how would you do that? So first you have to determine your target market, and obviously those are the customers that are most likely to buy your product or your service. And that's the demographics, age, gender, their interests. For example, I know that my product would be very attractive to people who do yoga. Probably primarily women 40 to 60, men too, but I would think primarily women. Determine where to find them, and then you have to establish a large enough pool of possible participants. So how are you going to do that? Ed was meeting with someone this morning that has a product, a baby product, okay? So how would you find people for a focus group for a baby product? Well, you could advertise in San Diego Magazine. You could find you can get creative. You could find a preschool and see how many of those women had younger children at home, or use that preschool as a place to get your focus group participants. Sometimes you can make a deal like with a PTA, for example, if you had a childhood product, where you would donate a certain amount of money to the PTA if they could get you enough participants for the focus groups. Jack in the Box actually does something like that. I'm a member of a women's philanthropic organization, and Jack in the Box, Leslie can correct me on this, but we were going to be brought into Jack in the Box, and Leslie knows about this. We were going to be brought into Jack in the Box, and they were going to test out new foods on us. We would give feedback on how we liked them, and then they would make a donation to our organization, which supports women's education. It turned out, I think we weren't quite the demographic that Jack in the Box was looking for, but it's an approach. You know, you're getting creative. Ed talks about parking lot surveys. You know, you can got a pet product, you can stand outside a Petco and find out if people were interested in participating in a focus group. Get their information, get their email address and their name, so you create a large enough pool, and then you do a little secondary interview with those people until you find the right 8 to 15 people to participate in the group.
I'd like to interject, because that is exactly how that's done. And you can find, I had somebody recently that had a sporting good product, and I suggested to them that they go to a local sporting goods store and get the manager to see if he'd even put up a little flyer saying, are you into this sport? We're trying to put together a focus group. And he was quite open to putting that little poster up. That did lead.
Yeah.
That did lead to some people come in and participate.
It's that old sales approach. Can you help me? Right? Because everybody wants to be helpful. So, well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to be helpful. So you can make a deal with an organization. I mean, you can get creative depending on what. Yes.
I was just in a focus group, and it was for postal annex, and they pulled us randomly out of different computers in different locations, and then they emailed us, and they sent us all, we got $25 Visa gift cards for showing up, pizza and soda. And it was fun.
That's about 3 slides further along. Now, how did they? Now, are you a postal annex customer? Okay, and that's how they got you, was through the database. Yeah, the customer service. Yeah. I know Ed did a lot of hospital survey focus groups, and that's how they would get them too.
What kind of databases available? If you wanted people that have a Home Depot credit card, is there a way to find those people?
If you wanted people that had a Home Depot credit card, you might need to. I don't know if Home Depot would sell that mailing list. Probably not.
Private list.
Yeah.
But if you had like a hardware project and you wanted a list of people, how would you go about doing so?
Yeah, there are mailing lists, and you'd want but mailing lists, a lot of times you have to buy, the mailing list is costly because you have to buy so many names. I'd have to do some thinking on that, but there would be definitely ways to do that. Okay. Are there magazines that people in your target market would want to read? Okay, so then you might approach one of the magazines and find out if they would sell a subset of their mailing list. You could put, a lot of those magazines have classified ads in the back. You could put a classified ad in. You could put an ad in the San Diego Union Tribune, or on, On Craigslist, absolutely. Looking for handymen who spend X amount of dollars per year on tools and supplies to participate in focus group, and generally you're going to pay those people, right? Does it make sense? Okay. I'm sorry? No, we're not going to talk about surveys at all, just focus groups today. Yeah. Okay, so find a professional moderator. And folks, that's not you. Okay, the professional moderator is going to sign an NDA. That's going to be someone who you've educated enough about your products so that they know enough to field questions and answer questions that participants may have in the focus group. The professional moderator will help you determine the questions. We talked about that a minute ago, where the way you ask the questions can influence the information that you get back. A professional moderator can help you give you advice on finding participants. He or she moderates the group and keeps it on purpose. That is really important, folks, because if you get the wrong people, have you ever been in a group where there's one person who's really negative or really positive and they're just taking off? And so the moderator really has to maintain control of that group. And a good moderator, can do that very tactfully without making anybody feel put down. You know, that's a very good point, Sally. Yes, let me get that down. Okay. The moderator ensures that all relevant information is captured, and you'll need a note taker as well as the moderator, because it's enough for the moderator to be holding the group together and keeping that flowing. And a moderator will provide you with a written report, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. So don't moderate or run your focus group yourself. Don't ask friends or relatives to be participants or to moderate the group. They're going to bias it. You should not be a participant or even in the room. If they know that you have invented XYZ product and you're in the room, it's going to influence what they say about your product. It's impossible to be unbiased, and worse, you could bias the group's responses. Find a place, a neutral territory, not your home or office. Comfortable. Provide refreshments, but no alcohol before the group does its work. You can get them drunk later, if they give you the right results, right? Okay, so how much does it cost? A moderator, $150 an hour, including prep time and report preparation. The cost that it's going to take you to recruit the participants. The pay for participants, you said you got $25 in food. Okay, $50, $100, whatever it is. More specific the group is, like if you're going to do doctors, you're going to have to up that ante. You're going to have a note taker, room rental, and refreshments. So what do you expect? A professionally written detailed report in 7 to 10 days, centered on your issues or questions. It'll be suitable for venture capitalists or bankers, and it'll become a part of your business plan and your marketing plan. So you really have something. So final thoughts. Focus groups are not a substitute for hard data. The best research combines a number of the different research methods. Focus groups alone are better than no research, but be careful how you interpret the results. Okay? Thank you.